Colorado lawmakers call for a new fee on auto insurance, claiming it will lower premiums. That's the dumbest thing I've heard in my entire life.
Wow. You heard it here first. Actually, no, you didn't. You heard it on our local CBS News Denver first. Sean Boyd is the one who brought this whole thing together and
Reported on it.
Yes. And read that headline one more time.
I don't think I can. Colorado lawmakers call for a new fee on auto insurance, claiming it will lower premiums.
Those words don't belong in the same sentence.
It's like the opposite of addition by subtraction.
Yes. I don't understand that either. All right.
It's addition by addition.
Yes. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's
Rob,
crazy.
What's going on in our state is crazy, and we're gonna get into it with you. But guess what? Coming to a state near you.
Yeah, for sure.
Wherever you may be.
If they succeed here, trust me, they'll succeed in other states.
You can't.
Because this is brilliant thinking on the politicians' part.
Yeah. By brilliant, you must mean this is as screwed up as it could possibly be. If the goal is to, in fact, reduce premiums, what they're solving for is that insurance rates are going through the roof.
They are.
Right? Mm-hmm. And they are
lawmakers.
In particular, a Democratic lawmaker who is throwing these bills out for consideration in the Colorado Senate and House. But Rob, the crazy thing about this is they're trying to lower premiums. When was the last time you saw insurers lower premiums across the board? It doesn't.
I don't think I've ever seen it go across the board. During COVID, they did give people some $50 rebates and so on and so
look,
forth.
When I drive nicely,
because nobody was driving
for 6 months, I get a check, right? This says attaboy. It doesn't.
I don't.
It doesn't. Well, you don't drive nicely.
Apparently.
But the thing about it that drives me nuts is this suggestion is that we pay, and we'll talk about how much, a fee for every car that we own and that is insured. And they think the insurers are going to reduce their rates, and the insurers are saying, not likely.
No. The whole thing is preposterous. One thing you need to understand about Colorado, we have this unique law called TABOR, which is the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights.
Yes.
And for my infantile knowledge of it, basically, they can't add new taxes or raise taxes without the public agreeing to it through a vote.
But they have no problem with fees.
So they substitute it with fees that they don't need to get approval on. And there's fees on everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
As you're going to learn.
As well as taxes.
This new fee that they're proposing, which is $3.
So Colorado has the 5th highest auto insurance rates in the country, and some state lawmakers are hoping to reduce them by reducing certain types of crashes. They've introduced a bill that would create a crash prevention enterprise within the Department of Transportation.
I thought that was what your ADAS systems were for.
Yes, well, they want those too.
Okay.
It would be funded by a $3 per vehicle per year fee tacked on to all insurance policies in Colorado. So the insurance companies that bill you will collect this and send it to the state. So now they have more work to do. That's a good idea. That'll help lower things. The fee is expected to generate about $20 million a year.
$20 million a year
for the state. 30% of the money will go to projects aimed at reducing wildlife crashes like underpasses and overpasses. The rest would go to projects aimed at reducing crashes involving cyclists and pedestrians like bike lanes and well-lit walkways, which I'm pretty certain that we already paid taxes for that. But
we did.
So this state senator, Dylan Roberts, says the bill will save lives and money by reducing accidents. In turn, insurance premiums.
Huh. So he thinks
it's going to reduce insurance premiums.
It's going to reduce insurance premiums by reducing the number of accidents and the claims there that are associated with those.
Yeah, and he points out to a project they did on Highway 9 in Silverthorne that they put an overpass that the animals can go across the overpass.
Correct.
Because it probably has a deer crossing sign. So the deer know to cross there.
It's a big fence is what it is. It's a fence that guides the deer from one side of the street to the other. And you can't.
There's no sign for the deer crossing, so they know?
Well, there may be. I don't know. If there is, that sign costs several $1 million.
So I don't know how long or how much money it took to do this, but this has been done.
Yes.
And it has saved... They say decreased crashes by more than 90%.
Yeah, we have the same thing going on in another part of the state on I-25 up by Castle Pines, which is south of Denver. There's a huge herd of elk that go in and out all the time.
They're at my house.
Same thing, underpass underneath the freeway and all this the fences and all that. Okay.
You know, I don't think it's dumb.
No.
But I don't think it is going to solve what they're suggesting it's going to solve.
That's the issue.
And so here's my point in this thing. It's already saved 90% of crashes. My rate's doubled. So
Mine too.
That didn't help me.
Right.
It's not going to help you either. And if this comes to your state, it's not going to help you either, and who knows what kind of fees they're going to put on it. Moving down, Carol Walker with the Rocky Mountain Insurance Information Association says the bill may increase traffic safety. May. But it won't lower premiums.
She knows a thing or two.
She knows that Colorado is 42nd in the country for wildlife car collisions. So we're pretty far down on the list, I would say.
There's only 50 states today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she says crashes with wildlife, pedestrians, and cyclists have a negligible impact on auto insurance, which is driven largely by hail and car-on-car accidents.
So basically what she's saying is we're solving for a problem that doesn't really exist.
Well, what they're going to focus on isn't going to impact what they're suggesting.
Right.
It's going to focus on, and I would tend to agree.
And don't get us wrong. We don't want you to run into a deer or an elk. We don't want you to hit a cyclist. We care about the cyclists and their safety.
We care about everybody. And we don't want you to have an accident.
And we don't want you to pay all this extra money. And you may think, well, $3, what's the big deal? Well, okay. It just keeps going. Because this is one bill on top of another bill.
Let's talk about the other bill for a second.
Yeah, let's.
Because, again, this may be coming to a state near you. Homeowners struggle to afford soaring insurance premiums. State lawmakers are considering a first-in-the-nation program to help provide relief. So they're going to provide relief.
You're not going to believe this.
They're going to provide relief by adding a fee onto your homeowner's insurance. But not one fee, two fees.
Two fees.
One is 0.5 and is going to raise
0.5 what?
0.5% of your homeowner's premium.
Yours doubled, right?
Yes, mine doubled.
Okay.
And the other one is 0.5% of your homeowner's premium, going to two different state-funded well, not state funded, they're funded by you or
Right.
me.
Right. Enterprises.
Enterprises,
Yeah.
which, by the way, they say take a long time to get these things up and running. But in this report, they say, according to Insurify.com, the average cost for homeowners insurance in Colorado is $6,000 for a $500,000 indwelling coverage with a $1,000 deductible. Show me a $500,000 house anywhere within 50 miles a year, 100 miles a year. Very, very rare.
Very rare. And so again, there's more addition by subtraction, right?
Yeah.
They're telling you what they want to tell you so that it sounds like it's palatable, but in fact, that's not a realistic situation.
No. So the new program would involve fees aimed at lowering premiums while keeping insurers from leaving Colorado.
Oh, and that $1,000 deductible.
Yeah,
Do
not
you
for
remember,
me.
Do you remember your $1,000 deductible?
Yeah.
That was last year, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
What is it today?
$47,000.
$47,000 deductible.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing getting cheaper.
Everybody, all the insurers are leaning in the direction of a percentage of your dwelling as the deductible rather than a flat fee for wind and hail. So, and every insurer is different. So how they're going to cut that all up is I don't know. But the first bucket, the 0.5, is going to go to this enterprise, and the enterprise is going to provide grants for people that ask for these grants to help put hail fortified roofs on. Now, for those people, well, let me just read it. Insurance companies, many of them already give a discount for that. But they're saying if we have more fortified roofs in place in large scalable levels, it could really have an impact on what we pay in premiums. The other 0.5% is going to go to a different enterprise, and that enterprise will also create $13 million a year. And the insurers, private businesses,
Yep.
the insurers could tap into this fund
Yep.
if there's a large disaster. But here's the catch. In order to qualify to get any of this money, the insurer would need to lower premiums and offer policies in high-risk areas.
It sounds like somebody got an extra big set of crayons in the kindergarten class, and they're trying to do math with the crayons, and it just isn't working. You talked about, sometimes it takes a little time to get these things resolved. I saw in this report that it says the average is about 4 years.
So we're going to pay these added fees for 4 years.
Right.
So that, and by the way, let's just take, one bucket of $13 million. If we have a disaster,
It's gone
$13 million is,
like that.
is a drop in the bucket.
It is a drop in the bucket because it's only 1% of the, or 0.5% of the homeowners in the state. But if you think about that, they're still getting their premiums on top of that.
Yes, they are.
And that is
And raising deductibles.
far more. And raising deductibles.
And raising deductibles.
Yeah.
So that's really a way of self-insuring.
Yep.
I've self-insured my roof.
Yes.
And I put a hail-resistant roof on it.
Right.
And I did not get any discount.
Nope.
So
The reason we bring all this to you, especially as it relates back to the automotive side of things, is what's happening here in Colorado is, in fact, going to be looked at very carefully by every other state. And no matter where you are, insurance premiums are not likely to go down.
ever.
Your taxes, that's what we all have to vote on. And if you take any consideration to the last major election, I think we know where we stand with taxes. Nobody really likes more taxes, but politicians seem to like more taxes.
Yeah.
But we're talking about fees, and those are unregulated, and we can just say we're doing whatever we want to do. And that's a problem for all of us.
Here's the thing. It's not going to lower premiums. It is going to put more money into the government.
Yep.
And I'm not suggesting the government isn't going to use it in some way, shape, or form. But you're not going to see it reducing your premiums, in my humble opinion. Yeah. I'm no economist, but I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, go out and find a grain of sand and or multiple, and take our advice with that, and know that we're really not giving advice; we're just giving commentary. But wow, Rob, this is a lot, and we don't want to have anybody struggling out there. We don't want anybody to hit any animals. Don't hit any pedestrians or cyclists. But my gosh, this is a ridiculous notion.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave, for bringing this to our attention. He sent me the link to this. So
absolutely.
I appreciate it very much.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you, my dear friends. Happy Saturday to you. Thanks so much for tuning in. And have an amazing week. We'll see you next Saturday. God bless.